Hello everyone, today we're going to be learning the Black Yellow Luffy deck. As you can see, per the rules, any life cards that we have that are face up will be sent to the bottom of our deck instead of into our hand. Then, if we have 2 Don attached to Luffy during our main turn, and we can only do it once per turn, we can then discard 1 card from our hand, and if our life cards is 0, then we can place 2 5-cost characters from either our hand or our trash. This ability is going to be very important in order to get the main components of this deck really flowing. Next we have the Sabo Black card. This is going to be a very important card to have because it can block and it has 6k power. Then on play we can prevent any KOs from any character effects, and we have to draw 2 cards and then trash 2. The trash 2 isn't really too bad, as you know, we generally want to throw any of the aces into our trash first. Then if we don't have anything besides that, we want to throw any of the adult versions of Luffy, Ace, or Sabo. Then we have Gecko Moria. Moria is going to be very important in the late game in order to revive any of our either trashed or discarded Luffy, Sabo, Ace. So we need to make sure to use our leader's ability very effectively in order to revive the cards that we need, and we also need to make sure that we have the cards either in our hands or trash in order to place them in our life. A very important card is going to be Gamplay. She is going to help us push back when the enemy is trying to prevent us from activating our leader card. So if they see that we're about to activate the leader card and they don't want us to pop off the Sabo Luffy kid versions, so that we can then use essentially summon the more powerful versions into the field and then get our leader 2k per summon, they're going to deny us the ability to get 0 life. So they're going to try to deny us. So Gamplay will help us with that and really help push forward into the later game. Next we have Hiyori. Hiyori is going to be really good for the early game if we can have either any of the adult versions and their kids in our hand. Then we can play Hiyori in order to set up our life how we want. So this will really push us in the early game. But if we are in the middle to late game, she's not going to be very useful. However, she is a good card to have because she has the 2k counter. So if they're pushing really hard on us towards the end and we're kind of gambling with her life, Hiyori will add that extra ability to survive any of their onslaughts. Now we have Sabo, the kid version. The Ace and Luffy version are going to be pretty much the same thing. We will trash the kid version of either of the 3 to reveal our top card in our life. Then we're going to summon that card onto the field, and then our leader gets 2k power until the end of our opponent's turn. So this is going to be very crucial for setting up our life in the correct manner in order to play their 5-cost version and really push forward into the game to attack the enemy leader. Here we have one of the Sabo 5-cost cards. This one is not going to be very important, that's why there's only 2 of them in this deck. Very situational card. It's only for kind of helping get rid of cards in the early game if you get it. If not, it can be used situationally later on. If you're already activating your leader's ability, you can trash one of your life cards in order to get rid of any annoying blockers or any annoying 5-cost or less characters in the enemy field. Ace is going to be very important into the mechanics of how we're going to really pressure the opponent. Because we're always going to be able to get 2 cards back whenever we play our leader's ability. We're always going to have 2 or less life. So he's very important in order to just pressure the opponent into either defending using their counters or using their blockers. Makino is going to be really important in the early game in order to see your life cards. If you don't get her in the early game and you're already using your leader's ability to get the cards, she's always a great counter. She's also very useful for if the enemy is trying to starve you of using your leader's ability, you can just play her and get rid of some of your life cards in order to push forward. Garp is going to be one of 2 searchers that we have. It's going to be able to get any of the adult versions or the kid versions of Sabo Ace Luffy. So it's going to be very useful in order to kind of stacking our hand and then of course our trash in order to be able to play into our life. Luffy is going to be kind of a situational character that we can use. His main ability is to get 2k power until our next turn, and then if we have one or more life, we can then draw one card and then trash the top of our life. So he's going to be good for, you know, if the enemy's trying to starve us, if we already have Luffy on the field, we can then use him in order to reduce our life, and then if we need to, we can use any of the other cards like Gamplay, Hiyori, or if we have another Luffy out, we can also use him in order to get our life back to 0, and then, you know, play our leader's ability in order to summon more Sabo Ace Luffy onto the field. And lastly, we have our final searcher card. This is again just going to be looking for Sabo Ace Luffy, any of them, and place them in our hand so that we can then play them into the field or into our trash. Alright, let's go ahead and get to some gameplay. So here, I usually like to go second so that I can make sure that I get the Gecko Moria off in one turn if I need to. So here I'm going to try to utilize Hiyori in order to play the Sabo card. Here we do have a Garp so that I can search if I need to. And let's see, here I'm going to just go ahead and start placing my Sabo card and try to get that out of the way. I'm going to defend that card in order to play it on my next turn. It doesn't do anything, so I just go ahead and play it. And now I have a blocker available. I'm going to trash 2 cards. Don't really need the Garp since I have pretty good stacked hand for Sabo. And Sabo does go in the trash so that I can play it later. Go ahead and attack. So he definitely has to defend. So here I'm just reading the card, the leader's card, trying to see what they're doing. He has rush. He doesn't really do anything. Go on to the next one. Let's do search. Rearrange. Want all the Sabo Ace Luffy up in front so that I can get them sooner. I go ahead and attack for 7k. I do go ahead and activate my leader's ability so that I can trash the ace. It's not really useful in my hand, so I just go ahead and throw it out just to make sure it's ready for me to play whenever I need to. Okay, here he used an ability, so he KO'd my Sabo, which is unfortunate, but very well. Just making sure to read up on all his cards. Okay. So here, deciding what to do on how I want to play this. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and decide to kind of all into the leader for one of my lower cards and see if I can bait him into maybe resting one of his cards, and also trying to bait him into getting the Sabo. That way I can play it with the Moria. So he does take the bait into the Hiyori. He has 6k, so should be something that can be relatively easy to take out. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and go for the all-in into the ace. He doesn't have very many cards to defend, so it's going to be hard for him to, you know, have it survive. Here, I want to start reducing my life so that I can activate my leader's card or ability. So I'm going to kind of just use Makino to reduce it. Then I'm going to all-in with the young Sabo in order to bait him into attacking it so that it can trash. Again, I'm trying to set it up for the Moria, and then of course for my life to be at 0. I am going to try to defend my life here in case he tries to do 2 full attacks for whatever he has, but he doesn't really do anything, so we press forward. I decide that Gamplay is the best way to go, so I go ahead and activate her or summon her, and then I'm going to stack my life in the way that I want. So I go with the Sabo at the bottom, Ace at top. Then I'm going to kind of force him into either sacrificing his life or sacrificing his counters. So he definitely blocks one and then takes the hit on the other one. Now here I don't have an ace in my hand, so I'm going to wait for the next turn. So here he does take the bait for that, so he uses one attack there, but it's perfectly fine. Here I'm just making sure that I have everything I need. I do have an ace there, so I'm going to summon. And there it is. There's the 9k on me. Going to trash the 2 cards due to Sabo. And then I'm going to trash 1 card. Gonna end up trashing the ace. And then gonna pick Luffy and Sabo. So I'm gonna attack with the ace since he has rush. It is an even, so he's gonna end up taking it. I thought he was gonna end up using a counter, so still pretty good. He took the hit. Now I'm going to attack him head on. And he does take the hit there too. So now the next turn should be fairly easy. Making sure that I have all the stuff that I need in case something happens, and he decides to concede. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I am going to try to post some kind of how-to videos for the decks that I'm running. So right now, the Monkey D. Luffy Black Yellow deck is the one that I'm kind of working on and trying to complete. I should be getting hopefully most of the cards sometime soon. I have like probably like 90% of it done. Unfortunately, the one that I don't have the full set is the Blocker Sabo. It is like $23 per card. I don't want to spend essentially like 60 bucks for the 3 cards that I need. So we'll see how it goes. I'm probably going to buy maybe a booster box in order to try to pull the rest. But thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.